It looks like the time has run out, but
It has, yeah.
I think it's time to jump into it, isn't it?
Wow, it was a bit sudden. And I'm ready
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, here
All
we go.
right. Yeah.
Here we are
Let's
again.
fucking go.
EP04, 2 in 2 weeks. Can you believe it? We're in form. This is where you
It's a
put in
bit,
form.
yeah, like fucking two in 2 weeks. How'd we
Yeah.
manage it?
I must put it on. Well, we are still in lockdown as a county. And as of today, if you live in the northeast,
Excuse me.
if you live in the northeast of England, bless you, Joe, you
Thank
were
you.
also in lockdown, or going into lockdown, I should say.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that is the latest. As of today, well, no, it was detailed today that
Yeah.
northeast England would go into
The-
lockdown.
I also seen that Boris is trying to rule out a full 2 week lockdown for everyone, but there's a lot of talk about that kind of stuff
I
at the
don't
moment.
know
So
how he's I don't know how he's going to do that, considering that you know you need to isolate for 14 days.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's kind of this figure that's been around for a while. I feel like it's something
mm.
that we should kind of stick by.
Yeah. I exactly like I don't know how we can backtrack on that now, really.
So
And
what is he like suggesting differently?
I don't know. He's just hoping that the local lockdowns are gonna work. It would seem like I could I couldn't tell you, man. Like yeah, it stumped me, to
Yeah,
be honest, because it like I don't it's gonna happen. Rhonda went into lockdown like what
as
a
of
week or two ago as well.
no,
So
no, no. They only
that's
went under yesterday. No,
yeah.
no,
So
no. Today,
Caerphilly,
sorry.
Rhonda, that's like two big. That's a big chunk of Wales. Like
And there's going to be more. Like this is just the start, basically.
oh yeah,
They're just
for
trying to
sure.
prolong everyone's kind of um, happiness, and then eventually it'll become the whole of the UK, and we'll all be in lockdown again for Christmas, which would be
Oh
nice.
yeah,
Not.
lockdown for Christmas. That's exactly what we all want, isn't it?
I think that's what's coming. But I think we were the first one, which I don't know what says. I'm not really sure what that says about us, really.
Yeah,
Philly,
yeah. Like
since it all
maybe
kind of died down,
naive, thinking we're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, and
maybe, maybe.
I don't know. I stayed inside for like 6 months on the trot, so
Because when you look at Cardiff, um, they're only having between say 10 and 20 cases uh, a day compared to
yeah,
Philly, which is a lot, as a
it's
much fewer population.
fair bit more, right? Fair bit
Um,
more. Um, like the. I also seen Boris is thinking about having pubs close earlier as well, or something like that,
mhm.
which is interesting.
He has implemented that in Rwanda, and also
Oh, has
now
he?
the northeast of England. But they've done it so differently. So Caerphilly doesn't have any restrictions,
Right.
and that was the first one to go under, and it's still one of the worst places right now.
Yeah.
Rwanda does, even though at the time it was doing better than Caerphilly. So their pubs have to close at 11, and then the northeast of England, uh, again they're not as bad as Rwanda and Caerphilly, I think, and they have to close their pubs between 10 and 5.
Right.
So I don't know how or why they're all different times for different places.
Wait.
It feels a bit
So
random.
pubs are open between 10 and 5.
Between no, they have to close between 10 and 5. 10 in the night and then 5 in the morning.
Wait, what?
So they can open all day, but they've got to
Right.
close early. They've got to close at 10. and then they can open up at 5. So between the hours of 10 p.m.
That's
and
not
5 a.m.
much different, is it?
That's
There's
what I'm
really not much difference at all.
especially with Ronda. That's 11. I mean, no, I mean that's only like for a lot of pubs that'll be an hour before because that'll be a lot of pubs close at 12.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, like the Otter, for example, that will like that's more restaurant, obviously.
mm,
But that like that was always I think last call was at like 10 o'clock, or last orders was at 10 o'clock,
something
and
like that.
sometimes we did
Yeah,
last call
probably.
at 11. So that's really not much different at all.
No. Um,
And
yeah.
also the whole rule of six thing, unless you're a Tory going fox hunting,
hmm Yeah, that is also a thing.
that's more than a little aggravating.
We didn't even get the option for that.
No, no, like I don't. How do they get away with this?
Uh,
How can they get away with such blatant fucking classism?
Basically, nobody knows what they're doing. They're doing a bad job of it, and there's nobody there to tell them off. So it's just going to keep happening. Um,
Yeah, and they've got enough to deal with coronavirus and the pandemic. They can't address little things like that.
nah, that's the little people.
Mm, mm.
So yeah,
That's
that's basically why we've done 2 in 2 weeks. We've had
right.
the time, been in lockdown. Um, I mean, what else is there to do?
Exactly, exactly.
It's a
So
good excuse, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Like even if these might end up being a little shorter, because we get more time every other week, because you get like half days and that, and
hmm
so normally we work it around that. But yeah, I mean, like it should be easy enough to get crack out an hour
hmm
every week, surely at least.
Yeah,
So
that's all the
that's
depressing stuff.
yeah, that's a fair bit of the politics stuff. I probably
Uh,
got more though.
yeah, cause I'm at least the coronavirus stuff. I mean, I think we've all
Yeah,
had enough
yeah.
of
I'll
just the
just
worry.
scan through what else have we. I don't think I got any more pandemic-y stuff, so that's cool. Oh, except for one. Apparently, right?
hmm
Um, I would bring up the notes for this, but it's not. I don't want to spend too long on it. So I tweeted about this earlier. The the American government, or like the police force or whoever, someone put in a requisition
hmm
to use the heat ray weaponry that the US government have developed against protesters. So this is the same technology that was designed to try and peacefully subdue terrorists in Iraq, but wasn't used, or was like very, very rarely used to public knowledge, because the uh, uh, terrorists started making propaganda, 5G propaganda,
Okay.
about how it fucks with your brains and all that sort of stuff, and that's why we had protests just
Shall
a
we
few
fucking
weeks
go?
before, the BLM protest, where these requisitions were put in. We had people protesting over lockdown, face masks, and 5G. And like we had all those stories of people around the UK that were burning down 5G masts, right?
hmm
And they wanted to use their 5G crowd control weapons on the BLM movement.
Yeah, that seems a little doge.
Suddenly, the lockdown protesters have a whole new level of credibility.
Yeah, that's true.
The sad thing is, they actually do, but because this was one of the arguments, that they have this technology, and whether 5G is harmful or not, this weaponry and this technology exists, and they could easily use it as like, okay, so you don't like tear gas because it's banned by the Geneva Convention. Let's shoot them with heat rays instead. It's non-harmful. It's non-ionizing radiation. 5G is non-ionizing radiation. It will likely not kill you. It's not nearly powerful enough. The technology that the U.S. government has is it apparently it takes several hours just to warm up, and it needs to be stationary. It's good for stopping people crossing a line, pretty much. So the danger isn't that big, but still, like as much as I joke, like non-ionizing, it is non-ionizing radiation. It's not supposedly doesn't harm you, but it feels like your skin's boiling, reportedly.
And that's pain.
And
that's nice.
It from what I can assume, it's essentially like all of your nerves just like go into panic by the sounds of it. That's the best I can figure.
It's basically saying, we're kind of boiling, like we are literally boiling.
Yeah, your nerves are just like, fuck, what is this? What are all these fucking signals kind of shit? I guess. Like, so it just panics the fuck out and feels like burning. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar to that, I forget what the disease is called, but there's this.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, there's this nerve disease, degenerative nerve disease that apparently it feels like your face can be like just burning all the time. CBD is supposed to help out a lot with it. I think the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold had it. That's like how I got kind of introduced to it for the most part. But yeah, it just your nerves are on fucking like panic mode all the time, I guess, and it just feels like constant pain. So that's the best assumption of what I imagine this 5G weaponry could weaponry, crowd control, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, they've done no studies into the like long-term effects. So how do we really know?
Yeah, that's true.
I hate like 5G especially. I hate to like kind of buy into the fucking the hype around the idea of like the radiation from it and all of that, because it for the most part it's bullshit. Like, I do believe there's probably some people that have issues with it, like the same way you can be allergic to like anything in certain amounts. Like, surely radiation could be like, or like whatever the radiation becomes in your body, whatever you metabolize it to, perhaps, you know? Because like I think Lewis said the other day, like, you can't be allergic to vegetables, but like there's some cases of people being allergic to certain chemicals within the vegetables, or like certain things that they metabolize into. So you can be allergic to anything. Like, I think I'm mildly electrosensitive. Like, I can, it's gone to the point now where I can hear my phone chargers and shit like that. Like, I've got a little 5-hub USB thing that I use up in my room. The only electronic device in my bedroom, pretty much, besides like my phone and everything, and a Google Home. And it's funny, like, you know the kind of feeling of like brain static when it's just total quiet, but there's like a kind of background fuzz. Yeah. It's almost like TV static, like background. They could say that's the background radiation from the Big Bang, right? So I noticed the other night, while it's plugged in and it's charging, I can hear it. I can even hear like the kind of binaural frequency that the electricity is making, like the kind of phase between it. It's really hard to describe and weird to think about, but I noticed that when I had it up on my bed, the static was a lot more was a lot noisier, let's say, than when I put it on the other side of my like little wooden dresser.
Mm.
So it's almost like it kind of blocked the sound out a bit. I noticed, like, depending on where the angle was, where I was,
Yeah,
like, if
yeah,
it was, I was kind of in line of sight of it, I could kind of like feel the sort of pickup in the static.
yeah. That was with a lot of noises, a lot of high pitched noises, high frequency noises. If
Mm.
you just tune your head a certain way or
Yeah,
level
yeah, I get
yourself
that
to it,
all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm super sensitive to that.
I was trying to sleep um, the other day. I say the other day, it was a few months ago, and I was just thinking about silence. And then when I really tried to listen, because there was no sound in the room, obviously, it was nighttime. When I tried
Yeah,
to really listen, I can always hear like a really high pitched noise.
yeah.
It's not like loud or anything, but I can't tell if it's my brain like putting it there or if
Mm.
I am hearing something. Like if you just sit in a room and just listen,
Do you need ear defenders in work?
probably could wear them. Um,
Um,
my hearing's
like, cause
decent
it
though.
there is tinnitus, obviously. Although I'm not entirely sure. Like, Jake was describing tinnitus to me the other day, and to be fair, doesn't quite sound like what I think you're describing. Because as you said it, I kind of tuned into to it. Then it's just
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, that's a sound that I hear, and
yeah,
then my
it's weird.
brain stopped filtering it, I guess.
Like I'll never hear it unless I think about trying to hear it. Like it's not
Yeah,
here in my
it's
head.
weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, my brain started filtering it again now. But
So
yeah, I know what you mean there, actually. Yeah. Like, it's strange. Sometimes I feel like it just kind of, like, the amplitude on it kind of just grows, and you just get this weird feeling in the air. And I swear some other people have, like, noticed it along with me as well.
yeah,
It's weird.
what if
Like,
there is just this very like you said with the Big Bang and everything.
mm,
What if there is just this very high frequency noise that is just playing and people are not aware of unless you really think about it.
what what if we're literally just a sound wave that's being fed into a
Here we go.
universe simulator?
That's what we need. Oh, yeah, this one. This is good. We can start
That
this
one
one.
just popped into my head, like.
I like it.
But yeah, like, the whole thing with vibration, how it's just sort of like, that theory is such a wild one. It's always hard to kind of comprehend and, like, put to English,
We'll
you
call
know?
that one the "What's he on about" theory.
Yeah.
Claiming it there. If anyone wants to take that, no, that's ours. You heard it here first. Documented.
Um, but yeah, the whole vibration-y one, like, all the details for that are eluding me at the moment.
So anyway, what I'll take from this is that 5G scrambles your brain and makes your head explode.
Oh yeah,
I think we'll leave
definitely.
it at that.
Yeah, yeah. I the thing is, I swear I can remember a similar sort of weapony looking thing on Ratchet and Clank way back in the day. Like, it was
Foreshadowing.
just this sort of heat ray. You'd, like, blast it at the enemies, and they'd be like,
And back in the day, you had no idea, and now you're like,
yeah,
oh shit,
it was 5G.
man, mad. It is a madness.
Mm.
Right, should we move on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, so we went over some Xbox stuff last week.
We did indeed.
This week is a new week. We have another console drop in specs and prices, and that is the
We do
PS5,
indeed.
the obvious competitor of the Xbox. I do have some specs here, if I pull them up.
Nice, nice, nice.
So
Send me that through Facebook so I can bring it up on the stream.
I did.
Sick, sick.
Should have it. Should be in Messenger.
Alright, I'm just pulling out now. Leaving face. Yeah, I don't give fuck off Facebook. I wasn't even on what? And display.
So what I will say is that with this generation,
Yeah.
it feels like the polar opposite, where it feels like PS5 or PlayStation, Sony, they are scrambling uh, to get a competitive console out against the
Yeah.
Xbox Series
Yeah.
X. Whereas the last generation, Xbox were kind of rushed into releasing their
Yeah, I
VHS
think
player.
I was thinking earlier, I think Sony are probably going to be leaning into the PS5 Pro quite heavily, I think, with
Uh-huh.
this. Whereas Xbox has like their S and their X right out the gate. I think Sony's just going to like give it maybe a year and
Yeah,
then release the Pro, which will have like proper higher specs maybe. Because like as much as teraflops aren't really much of anything to go on anymore, supposedly. It's got like 10 to the Xbox One X's 40, was it? And I think even
10.3 Sony.
I could swear that the Xbox had that it's this Series S had maybe 15 mega teraflops or something like that. It's interesting with how each of them are going with their storage solutions as well. Like I mentioned this last time, how it's all about the SSDs and everything. So Sony has 825 gigabyte, strange,
Yeah.
custom PCIe SSD.
Uh-huh.
So that'll likely be like built into the PS4's motherboard, I imagine, but they do have PCIe SSD expansion slots by the looks.
Yeah.
Whether that'll be just a regular old NVMe drive, I doubt it. Or if it's going to be something else. And it also says it supports external hard drive, so we'll have to see. And the RAM, I noticed with Xbox, they've got two separate kind of setups of it. They've got I think it was 10 gigabytes was running at 500 gigabits per second, and then they had 6 gigabytes running in 350 gigabits per second versus the PS5's just 16 at 400. So the way these storage systems differ, it seems Xbox is sort of relying on a lot on like the offload into RAM and stuff like that, as far as I can tell. Whereas, and like sort of to help speed everything up, where they might not be able to on a regular NVMe or custom NVMe, sort of like what Sony's doing. So it'll be very interesting to see these different approaches. I gotta be fair.
It's interesting to see the fact that the CPU with PS5 it's very similar to the Xbox Series S, and that's going to be
I think
£200 cheaper.
they like, obviously I know nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're essentially basically the same CPU.
I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah, like the only difference seems to be like core clocks. So
Series S.
This is interesting. So I thought I seen that the PS5 was running at 3.5 gigahertz and could boost up when it needed to, whereas I think the Series S had like a 3.5 boost clock and the
3.6, I think.
oh no 3.5 base clock, and then it might have been 3.5 boost clock, and the Series X where it was like 3.5 standard and then up to
3.8.
3.8 boost
Yeah.
clock.
Yeah.
It's not going to make all that much of a difference, really. That is pulling at straws for the most part, I'd say.
Yeah.
But then this is the important part, like the compute units and everything. So I can't quite remember what the numbers were, but I feel like maybe the Series S was around 30 or so compute units, while the Series X was at maybe 60, was it? Or was it 40?
I don't remember.
Hang on,
See.
let's fucking.
Let's pull them up. Pull up the specs. Oh yeah, yeah, I see. Xbox Series X 52.
Oh, 52, yeah.
With
Just give me a graph.
PS5
Give me a graph,
36.
ING. Here we go.
To 2.23 gigahertz compared to the 1.825 gigahertz of the Xbox Series X.
Specs I'm looking at are all fucked up. These numbers don't make sense. God damn it,
What ones are you
CNET.
looking for? Which specs are you looking for?
Series X.
It's the link above the one you clicked. Oh,
Okay.
can't really see the one in Discord though, can you? I can resend it
No.
on Messenger.
I might have it now anyway. I'll just go to the Xbox site, surely. Specs. I asked for specs, not pretty pictures. Come on.
You know they're gonna give
Here
you
we
pretty
go.
pictures.
All right. So, 7 nanometer process. God damn. So yeah, 52 compute units and 12 teraflops. Is that the Series S or the X though? It's not really saying, is it?
Uh, that is
The
the Series
X,
X.
I believe,
Yeah.
from the product page I'm on.
12.15 teraflops.
So if that's 52 compute units and the PS5 is 36 compute units and 12 teraflops, so the Xbox Series S must have been like 7 teraflops, was it? And maybe 20 compute unit?
Series S
Yeah.
is 4.
4
Yeah, it's
teraflops. That
a
seems a
third.
lot. Seems less than I remember.
Yeah.
Like a third the power of the Series X.
And I guess that's why it's 299.
Hmm.
It is.
I
It
mean,
is. It's not what,
it's
249 if you live in the UK.
so that makes the Series S a little around about 150% less powerful than the uh PS5.
Mm.
It'll be interesting to see how they stack up for sure. I can see a lot of people low key kind of just leaving out the Series S out the gate.
Mm.
Matt, but here's the shit that I like, right? USB-C port on the controller. Fucking looks like they've got a new kind of rounded design, bigger. I might even buy one of these for my PC. It looks nice.
Yeah.
And a rechargeable battery by default. Like, what more could you ask for?
I know. That's it's just what you need.
Yeah,
It should come with the base
realistically.
set.
Exactly. For
Um,
sure.
have you seen the pictures of it lying down?
I have, yeah. I'll pull
Because
one up now. There we go.
because everyone was like, oh, it looks a certain way. We only ever saw it standing up, and then I just only just seen it sitting down, and it looks awkward. I
The
don't know
one
if
with the
I,
drive looks kind of cool on its side, I want to
I don't
say.
know. It just
I
look,
don't
it's
know
not very
how the one
symmetrical.
without the drive will look. But then it's like it's cool at first, but then it still looks a bit weird, don't it?
Like depending on how your room looks,
Yeah,
this may stand out.
it's a very aesthetic console.
Yeah. Whereas I
But
quite
there
like
was
the
a theory about this actually. So MKBHD pointed out that the Series S and the Series X, very clean, minimal designs, they'll blend into the background, versus the PS5, that outlandish fucking Kyber coat looking motherfucker. Um, that thing's gonna stand out in the back of every video on the internet.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
if you've got like your consoles in the background, people are gonna be looking in like on YouTube or wherever. They look in the background, they're gonna see the PS5. They'll have to look for the Xbox.
Mm.
So there's a kind of like it's almost like they're making the flamboyant design into a sort of its own sort of what do you call it? Its own kind of promotion campaign. Like you will see it in whatever video it's even mildly kind of featured in.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've released the prices as well. So, have you got any guesses?
I've seen the prices.
You've
Well,
seen the
I've seen the
prices
price
now.
of the big boy PS5.
The one with the disc.
Yes, isn't
Yeah,
that
that's
499?
499. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think?
I mean, it's identical to the Xbox, so there's
It
no
is
price
it?
difference. The last
Okay.
generation, yeah, the Xbox is also 499. I
The
think
Series X. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
the last
So
generation there
the
was a big
discless
difference.
PS4 is 399.
Yeah,
How's that compare to the Series S?
and the Series
Is
S is
that
two
not
nine nine.
299?
Mm-hmm. So it is undercutting it,
Interesting.
which is similar to what happened last generation with Xbox, um, Xbox One and PS4.
Mm.
The Xbox was I think £100 more expensive, and hence why it didn't sell as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
of course.
yeah, it was like PS5 produced it for like 349, and Xbox for like 450,
Mm.
something like that.
Like, is that the PS3? Are you talking now?
No, the PS4 and Xbox
PS4.
One.
Mm. They did price it more comparatively with the PS4 because they learned from the PS3, I believe.
Yeah, I think
I pro.
Xbox this time have really pulled out the bag
Mm.
and priced it well. I mean, it's very competitive compared to the PlayStation. It's better prices with the slim versions.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I always find it interesting with the when the conversation comes to like the price point with the PS3 because like it's fun it's weirdly little known information that the reason the PS3 was so expensive is because it basically had a full PS2 chipset inside of it,
Ah,
like a
okay.
literal actual PS2 inside of it, so that it would have backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
They released a cheaper model later on, which was like 300 or so, maybe. But that model, it's a lot lighter. And if you play like any PS2 games on it, you'll notice it runs a fuck of a lot worse. And like it'll be laggier or chuggier. You might have weird glitches or stuff like that because it's run on an emulator. Because what they did with the PS3 is they totally changed like the CPU architecture and everything. So that's how Microsoft could like give backwards compatibility with their consoles. Like they were both built on x86, I think.
Yeah.
Basically computer type thing. But when the PS3 decided to use a custom architecture, which is what allowed it to make such beautiful games like The Last of Us. Was Last of Us on PS3? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Last
Good
of
ones.
Us and
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncharted and stuff like that. Like they look so good because of the custom CPU architecture. But then that custom architecture wasn't so great at emulating like what I think it was 86 games or like old PS2 games to make it to simplify it. So you'll notice like the graphics quality itself generally always looks worse. I think there's some games that just straight aren't compatible with certain models of the PS3 because of that. Like they can't run well enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting tidbit, if you didn't know.
I do love going back and watching the PS3 reveal
Yeah.
when they
Oh
announced the
yeah, they
price.
reveal the price.
Oh, five
It's
nine
just
nine.
like,
Jeez.
yeah.
I mean, they went there. Phones are kind of always pushing up. Like PlayStation would like, fuck it, we're doing it. We're making $600 per
Yeah,
unit.
they were like, oh well, if no one's buying our phones and Samsung's starting to charge like £700 for their phones, fuck it, that's £600 for our console. Run at us.
Yeah.
You want this?
And then the Xbox One Elite was like 200 quid. Uh,
How do you compete with that?
no, and it was
I
the better console.
at the age of like 15, 16, I saved like that money myself to buy one, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
If I remember right.
Did you get it on eBay? You got it second
Yeah,
hand?
I think so. I saved the money, and I actually even sold it for roughly about the same money, I think, when it comes to selling it. Because I ended up selling it to get a guitar.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I have another bit of interesting news. I'll just insert this here.
Sure.
So, the Oculus Quest 2 is coming out.
Yeah,
October
I actually
10th,
went
I
through the
think.
Facebook thing actually.
Yeah. So
Oculus
I'm
Quest
actually
2.
I was really surprised by the price.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
gigabytes.
It's like is it £100 cheaper for the base model?
Yeah, it's 299. I'm actually thinking of just selling mine and then
Oh, I had a feeling you might. In
because
fact, yeah, yeah.
I was checking eBay and they're going for about 299 at least. I just upgrade for free basically. I just
I
go through the
mean,
hassle of
you'll
selling them.
have to be careful about trying to get it for that price. I think now
On
that the price has been revealed, but
true, but
if you're
I
quick
checked
enough.
today and people are bidding higher than the price
Really?
of the Quest. I maybe to be fair, I didn't really hear about it. I saw an
Yeah, yeah.
article earlier in the week. One
I
article.
I uh I only come across it the Oculus Facebook event after watching Mark Zuckerberg on MKBHD's podcast. That's the only reason I knew about it. It auto played, but I made some notes from that actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
some
So
interesting things come out of there actually.
yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine this is all compatible with Quest, surely, or Quest 2 at least, because it seems it's got its own SoC now. It's got its own kind of dedicated chip rather than just using a mobile processor. It's got its own custom Qualcomm SoC, so it should run a lot better. One thing that I'm a bit iffy with. Apparently, with the original Quest, they used two separate OLED panels, so they wanted to make it like higher refresh rate and look prettier. So now they're using a single flexible LCD panel, I think.
Okay.
But LCD is my issue. Like, why switch from OLED to LCD on a VR headset? Should logically, I feel like AMOLED would be a lot better, or OLED would be a lot better, just because
Yeah.
blacks are off. It can kind of give that weird glow, I guess, but I'd prefer that over like just blacks still being bright and in your face.
Yeah. Maybe it was a pricing thing and they just
Yeah,
like
probably it was
I
probably
think
to do with pricing.
I think a lot of people were put off by the price. It is quite a lot to pay for something that you're not going to use it all the time.
Yeah,
Um, so 299 is a lot more attractive
yeah,
rather than
for sure, for
399,
sure. Because
499.
I know Lewis's little brother wanted Oculus. Well, he wanted a VR headset, full stop. But
Mm,
he really liked the idea of the Quest.
mm.
Yeah, but obviously it's a bit expensive for a lot of people. But But it's got a fitness tracker now, apparently. It's going to be tracking your fitness in VR games, which sort of makes sense. Like, wherever you're playing, like, kind of an overbuilt thing. My only problem with the whole thing is Oculus is starting to become less and less of a thing, and it's just Facebook now. I don't like
Yeah.
that. Like
Um,
we mentioned last time with Germany fucking banning an Oculus headsets because they could, or banning Facebook. I don't know where exactly it was, but banning something to do with Oculus because Facebook is forcing all the sign in through Facebook rather than a separate Oculus account. Like, I
yeah.
don't like that. I don't like that at all.
No, I know what you
That's
mean.
a load of crap.
I know what you mean. Um, Also, Facebook are acquiring all of these different things like WhatsApp, is it
Mm,
Instagram as well?
mm, mm.
But like they're not integrating them together very well. Like there's no like, all right, you pull up the app and it shows all of the things
Yeah,
that they own, but
like,
like do something that's creative with them that combines them or something. It just
yeah,
feels like all you're doing is promoting all of the other ones every time you use one of the apps. It's
yeah.
just
Unfortunately, it is a bit tricky for a couple of reasons. So, first off, um, there's the issue of like competition and Facebook being a monopoly and all that kind of idea. So they need to try and come up with a way to integrate it without it being like, oh hey, look, you're all using Facebook. You are anyway. Whatever, any of those three apps you're using Facebook. It's all
yeah.
integrated in the back end already, but they can't make it too outwardly
I'm thinking more in the terms of
integrated.
Oculus though, just in terms of yeah, okay, Facebook owns Oculus, but like what about it? Like
Oh,
what are you
actually, okay, on that topic, they did mention that Facebook Messenger is now going to be a default Oculus feature. Like the chat in Oculus is going to be Facebook Messenger.
okay? So that's something.
Again, I'm hit or miss with that. It's interesting because it's great to be able to get to. I use Facebook Messenger for everything, so it's great to be able to get that to chat with people, and they've integrated it in a way that you can join games via Facebook Messenger as well,
Yeah.
like
See, I
VR
like that.
games.
Well, I like and dislike that for different reasons, but I'm liking that they are trying to integrate it and actually.
Yeah, so the thing with all the integration stuff is they got to avoid coming off as a monopoly.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one thing, and like it could so sometimes like it can be like they can get anti-competitive stuff for like putting all of their stuff together because it makes it kind of it thins options out. It's really hard to get into and explain all of this. Like most fucking lawmakers don't understand it, and that's why we're in all of this shit. But like there's been talks about breaking up Facebook for years, so it is really weird to see them try and suck Oculus in to be a part of Facebook, because surely that would
So
be one of the things that that they would want to that surely that would be one of the things that they branch off from when they get the inevitable monopoly chat and when they're told they have to break their services up. Because the thing is, if they bring in Instagram, they bring in WhatsApp, all into Facebook, one entity, then they'll get the monopoly call and they'll be told, you have to separate your company's businesses, separate into separate companies. So then it'll just be, okay, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook,
yeah,
Oculus.
I don't
It's a
necessarily want them.
tricky process.
I don't want them to become one thing. I just want them to be able to communicate and do things
So
within
they
each
have
of the
been
apps.
trying to do something like that for a while. Instagram's chat, WhatsApp, and Facebook all now use the same back end protocols. And eventually they're supposed to be getting like linked up so you can message people on Instagram through Facebook or WhatsApp and vice versa.
Yeah.
So there's that, and it's also good because it'll use the I think, is it peer-to-peer encryption that excuse me, the peer-to-peer encryption that WhatsApp uses. It's like public key, private key type thing. I forget
Yeah.
what the proper term is, but it's like all secure and everything. WhatsApp, like it's all encrypted. So
Yes.
that is good. That is good. You can do Facebook secret chats now that self-destruct after so long as well, and
Oh, I
that's all
didn't even know
encrypted.
about
But
this.
yeah, no one does. There's so many features on Facebook that no one knows about. It's ridiculous. Like they
How does that
don't.
work? Like, how
Well,
do you activate that?
okay, so I'll demonstrate to you now.
Okay,
So
I've got my phone.
if I open up Facebook Messenger, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, chat. Twitch even. I go onto your profile, and then there's that bit by there. Let's see. Oh, it's flipped, isn't it? I think it's like
Oh, okay. Yeah,
third
yeah, yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
down, something about secret conversations. So go to secret conversation, and then it loads up just another chat, and it comes up encrypted end to end across all active mobile devices, and you can like set timers for the messages, all shit like that, and do voice chats.
Didn't ask me to set
Oh
a time
shit,
or
you can
anything.
even see your public and private keys as well. That's interesting. Could that possibly be a security issue? What's the bets that those are just stored in plain text? The amount of stuff on Facebook that ends up getting stored in plain text, like
How did that look to you? Because I didn't feel any. Oh, okay, so
yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same
it's
except like for example, I can do an explode it doesn't have colors as well, so that's how it differentiates. It's all like gray
yeah,
or all white, I guess.
to
And
show that it's
then
really secret.
eventually it just disappears and it's just that blur, I suppose,
Yeah.
after 5 seconds, and then deletes itself. Okay, interesting.
Why didn't mine do that then?
What do you mean?
How do I did as mine
You
got?
have to like press the timer thing and set how long you want the timer to be for.
I see. I see.
So if it's like highlighted, it's on.
Right.
It's asking me if I want to make my Facebook avatar now. That actually brings me into another thing. So
Yeah, go
Oculus
on.
avatars getting replaced with Facebook avatars. There's going to be a bit of a transition thing, but yeah.
Right.
So another thing that I don't like is Facebook pulling in Oculus. I want it to be a separate entity. I don't want Facebook gaming or Facebook VR. I want it separated because I feel like you could probably get a lot of data from
Yeah.
VR realistically
I don't.
when you think about it.
So Facebook VR, like what? Like because to me the best way to use Facebook is via just looking at the screen. So
So
like,
they have their own VR chat thing now. Facebook Horizons. It's coming out for the public soon, I think, if it's not already. And you can. I think you can use any. I don't know if you need an Oculus headset, but if you have a VR headset, you can probably get into it. And it's basically just Facebook. I don't know how to explain it because I've never really seen it, but I from what I gather, they want it to be Facebook VR, like literally almost like Ready Player One kind of
right.
level
So
thing.
so they want you to create an avatar, and that's what you'll see through the VR and
Yeah,
so
and
on. Right.
there's gonna be mini games and shit.
Okay. I mean,
That's a thought actually. With lockdown going on,
oh,
pricing the Quest 2 so low, that's a power play. And then they're bringing out Facebook, or they're really thinking about this. They're putting some power plays in.
that's cool.
Actually, that's gonna work out well for them. They're probably gonna get a lot of people this Christmas, I reckon.
Definitely, yeah. Like,
So alongside that whole developer conference thing, they revealed a couple other things. So Ray-Ban smart glasses, they didn't go too much into it, but essentially they're competing with the idea of Google Glass, which doesn't really exist anymore technically. I just said Google Glass and it pulled up Assistant.
okay.
Weird. So The other things are games. We're actually getting AAA games for Oculus. Don't know if it'll work on the Quest, but at least on the Quest 2, surely.
Yeah.
So, we have Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
So,
Okay.
don't know how that's going to go, if it's going to be episodic or what, like the last Star Wars VR games. Or whether it's going to be like sort of an evolving thing, add in stories throughout or something like that. Hopefully free, please, for the love of God. I don't want to pay £7 for every fucking episode.
That's
Like,
get yeah.
the actual story content on the Vader games was a little... It wasn't much for what you pay overall.
It's just there to give it context.
Yeah, like...
Otherwise, you're just killing.
It's all for the Jedi fucking trading, like the fucking lightsaber training, really.
Yeah.
There's also going to be Ubisoft are releasing 2 AAA type style or AAA-esque AAA franchises onto Oculus. I assume it'll work on the Quest too. Got Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell.
Oh, Assassin's Creed, that's interesting.
Yeah. Especially with how that's all about going into VR in the first place anyway.
Oh, yeah, that'd be trippy.
Like, it's funny that that's taken so long to become a thing when you think about it like that. They're also releasing Population 1, which is a battle royale in VR. Looks sort of Fortnite-y. There's some sort of building mechanics. So it looks like they're trying to make Fortnite VR. Beat Saber multiplayer as well. And they're releasing a BTS pack for Beat Saber, naturally.
Nice, okay.
Jurassic World VR. I think it was called Aftermath or something like that. And this is an interesting one. This will be either the like Hail Mary back into the gaming industry or the fucking headstone. Medal of Honor is getting a game in VR.
No. How is that gonna work?
Yeah, I haven't played many good VR proper shooters yet.
Like, I can't do backflips. And I can't perform fatalities. So how does this work?
not Mortal Kombat, but
yeah,
Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. Okay.
You got your head in that fucking Black Mirror episode, haven't you, perv?
I was just. Yeah, Medal of Honor then.
Yeah, Medal of Honor.
But yeah, because they've kind of died.
Yeah, when was the last Medal of Honor game you heard of?
It was Medal of Honor Warfighter.
And that was like early coming out on the Xbox One, PS4, if I remember. And there's not been anything since, as far as I can tell.
It was buggy. It was rushed. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was basic. Like, it was dead on arrival, as far as I heard. Yeah. So this will either like tip the Earth back into their grave hole and bury them for good, or if they do this right, it could be their way of like clambering out.
Maybe.
But it'll be interesting to see, and it does have Steam and Oculus support. Steam VR and Oculus support with crossplay. Okay. So
wait, what?
There's not going to be a split player base. Which they
someone...
needed, realistically. They needed not to split the player base. What was that? Sorry about.
Imagine playing against someone keyboard and mouse.
Oh.
Constantly dying.
I don't know who would win. How, like, what would be better there?
That's true, yeah. I mean, once you get
because like, realistically, you can spin round and shoot people in a lot more like, if you think about it, theoretically, you've got a lot more mobility. But then also, like, are you gonna even be able to react and like walk about and like, how's this gonna work? Is it like
I can kind of see it working.
I could imagine a World War One trenches style VR shooter, maybe.
Like it's not going to be anything
But
technical off the bat because it's the first. It's just going to be, yeah, kind of setting up.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine a small death match. I can't imagine a small death match.
Oh, I
Trench
want it.
warfare, that I could see that working on VR. Like I could think of a few things that could get that work, but it's a little, yeah, I don't know. It's an
I think
interesting idea for sure. I'm very interested to see it.
a Warzone kind of thing would be really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I suppose that's kind of what they're going with this sort of Fortnite VR thing,
Yeah.
VR. I don't know. As far as the PS5, eh, this show was a bit meh, if you ask me.
What were the highlights? I didn't see it.
So I wrote down all the games that come out, and I'll run through them, and I'll try and save the ones that I think are actually exciting till later. So we've got Final Fantasy 16.
Uh-huh.
We've got Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
We've got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which looks too good to be real, if I'm honest. We got Resident Evil 7 Village. Oh, or is
Seven?
it
I think
8
seven's already out.
Village?
Yeah, 8. I think it's 8.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
it's definitely 8.
Village. Resident
Okay.
Evil Village.
Okay. I like Resident Evil games.
hmm
I've not
They've
seen the
got
trailer.
it looks interesting, creepy, but
When you
it's
say
Resident
village,
Evil. They've got so much smoke up their ass. That's all they're going to show in the trailer.
when you say village, it kind of reminds me of Resident 4,
Yeah, let's hope. Let's
which they are
hope.
remastering. I'm very, very excited for that.
Would that be
That's
too
gonna be good.
much though? Like Resi 4 and then a similar new game?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's going to be different then.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. So let's see. We've got Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, so I think that's a re-release.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Glitch.
Okay. Imagine that in VR. Fuck me.
I
That would
think it
finish me
might
off.
be a VR
Uh,
game. I
no.
don't know.
No, it's
There's
not.
some
Don't tell me
weird
that.
narrative to it. There is a VR Five
Oh my
Nights at Freddy's
God.
though. Outside of just ports and everything. Fortnite. Fortnite was shown off on there.
I mean, okay. It's already a thing though.
Yeah, it's like, duh.
Yeah. I
Like,
expect,
why would they not?
yeah.
And unless they're trying to get Sony to stop with their 30% cut of V-Bucks as well. Like,
Yeah. Man.
I don't know any other reason why it wouldn't be on the PS5. So, okay, so yeah. Exciting ones. We have Abe Oddworld Soulstorm. They shown a bit more of that. That could be interesting. Like, I
Okay.
don't know if you ever played any of the old Abe Oddworld games.
No.
Like cult classics for sure, and just slept ever since PS1 generation.
Uh-huh.
Demon Souls, that looked pretty as fuck. Like, that looked really nice. Let's see. We've got have you seen that Deathloop game? That looks
No.
interesting. So, from what I can gather, it seems like you're some kind of an assassin and you have like 8 targets and you have to try and get all of them in the same time loop or something like that. So, it's like one of those you gotta keep trying and trying over and over to try and get faster times. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Has a lot of cool powers and abilities, so be interesting to see how that goes. Let's see. We have the PS Plus collection, even the PS Plus connection.
Yeah.
Did I say connection again? The PS Plus collection. So it looks like a sort of Games Pass service, but not quite. Like,
Yeah.
because I've heard like Sony have confirmed or whatever that they won't be relying on a Games Pass type service because they don't think it's viable.
Yes, I saw this today.
Yeah,
Mm,
so there are some older games in the PS Plus collection.
mm,
So I imagine it'll stay to that kind of thing.
yeah.
Um, and then there was a very, very cryptic teaser at the end that said pretty much Ragnarok is coming, 2021. That Deathloop's coming out first quarter of 2021, so that I think that's the soonest one. I didn't catch many of the dates for the others.
Mm-hmm.
And most interestingly, and what probably brought the most hype, Hogwarts Legacy.
I just saw that. I'm very
Yeah,
interested. Are these just PS5 exclusives,
I
or are these just
believe Hogwarts. It's either on all systems or it's on PC and
and
PS5.
right? As long as I can get that, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I'm pretty sure we can get that. Yeah, let's
I'm
see.
mm,
Let's bring that shit up, Jamie.
I'm really. I just watching this little trailer now.
So
I
I'm
really
not
want to see some
sure.
gameplay though.
A lot of people will like this. J.K. Rowling not directly involved in Hogwarts Legacy game.
Oh yeah, that's
I don't know what to think about all this J.K. Rowling stuff because from what I've read, it seems like it's all like it's a bit blown over the top, but at the
mm,
same time, I'm not really that read up on it, so I can't say shit. And
yeah,
there's a lot of people that are angry at her for being transphobic and
yeah.
shit, but I'm not gonna touch that one.
I yeah
I
I'm
ain't touching it.
I'm quite a big Harry Potter fan, and I don't really want to know.
Yeah,
I'm ignorant, yeah, but like I just rather not know
I
any of that.
to be honest, that's kind of the whole thing. Like I've seen so many tweets lately that are just like, amazing that this book series just doesn't have an author. Blah blah
Like
blah.
fucking hell.
Like they basically decided that the Harry Potter series itself is an orphan,
Mm. Some of the
much like
best-selling
Harry.
books of all time.
All right, so yeah, it's a open world Harry Potter game coming to Series Xbox Series X, PS5, and PC. Does that mean it's not
Yes.
coming to Series S? Are they going to
Um.
be exclusives between the S and the X?
Oof.
Exclusive. You heard it here first.
I mean,
That
surely
would
not.
surely not. That'll fuck them. Rough.
Yeah, nobody's gonna buy. Oh, was that a tactic to make people buy the more expensive one? Oh God knows.
I mean, surely the whole storage situation is enough there, right?
Mm,
Like we went over that last time. That
mm.
you're gonna basically need to get another hard drive, another SSD, which is probably sold for £200 by Microsoft. So
Yeah.
not gonna be too, no, you're not gonna be. I wouldn't recommend the Series S that hard
No.
for that reason. Like unless you don't play that much and you only play a selection of games at a time, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, it says here Series X slash Series S.
Okay. Good.
So hopefully that's fine. So that's coming in 2021. There's not been a lot of details around it yet, it seems,
Mm.
but it's an open world game,
What's
so
interesting
that's
though is
great.
that it's
It's single
before.
player, open world single player action role playing game. So that's why I was wondering if it was MMO.
Yeah.
Give it 5-10 years, maybe we'll get one of them.
Maybe.
That looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
It does. It's going to be interesting to see that it's before any of the story that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So before there's no Voldemort, there's no Harry Potter, there's no Lillian James, no mother and father.
Yeah,
It's like
I
all
think it's even before Newt Salamander. It said in that article I was looking at.
1800s. So I think
Yeah.
Salamander.
Oh, so so no pop culture references or anything like.
No,
I
it's going to
suppose
be
there's never
completely fresh
anything
one.
like that in Harry Potter anyway, because that's all Muggle shit.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through this. Destiny 2. Why,
Destiny 2?
why the fuck is that even need to be
Oh,
mentioned?
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I think they've got
Um,
a new I think they're burning some of the old Destiny 2 content so you can't get to it anymore or something like that, I
I
heard.
don't know what they're doing with Destiny anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's like,
it
oh, with new expansion coming 2022. Oh, right, yeah, so fucking not far off 2 years away. Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
uh,
That's the only thing new there. It's the same game, just with an expansion coming in 2 years. That's not excited.
nah,
I'm
not
not going to get
really.
excited about that.
Like this Harry Potter game looks insanely better than Destiny has looked for a while. Like not just visually, but it just in theory. Like Destiny kind of ruined themselves with all the switch ups in Destiny 1. I hope that they were done with it by Destiny 2.
Yeah,
But no, they still did the exact same thing where like after a year or two of it being out, they decided to release a low they had released a load of DLCs over the time, but they released a DLC which entirely changed the whole meta and made it so first year players couldn't that bought the game couldn't really play competitively online anymore because they didn't have the gear, and they couldn't access a load of the new missions around all of this new stuff. Like, so they could just get left behind if they don't want to pay another 30 quid on top of the initial 60 and whatever other DLCs they bought. Like, Destiny really fucked it for me, to be honest. Like, I was hyped as hell when they brought it out on PC, but I can't
yeah.
even keep up with it anymore.
No, we did try and get back into it, but
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
just
I
it's too
hope
far
you.
gone.
I'm glad you said that because I actually deleted it to save some space the other
Me
day.
too. Yeah, it's a big game. Yeah, it's we're too far behind. It's too much going on.
Yeah,
It's
for
too much
sure.
effort right now. Destiny 3, maybe, if it ever actually
I
happens.
might wait till it's been out for like 2 years
Yeah.
when they do all the meta re-rolling and shit. Oh,
Well, some more interesting games though. Dragon Age 4,
yeah, yeah.
big one, but not till 2022. So no. No. Dying Light 2. I love Dying Light
Mm.
1.
They've been teasing that for ages, haven't they?
Yeah,
Like since Xbox One,
it
halfway
had
through
a bit of
Xbox One.
it had a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
It looked like it might not actually come around, but I
Mm.
think they brought it back on track, and it looks like it's coming. Not soon, but they haven't abandoned it.
All right, that's good. That's cool. Like
And also,
I never got through all the Dying Light one, if I'm honest. Like I really enjoyed it, but I kept
mm,
getting stuck on like a couple of side quests that they were either bugged, or I was in the wrong place for them, or I don't know what
wasting my
happened,
time.
but I didn't. I got just held up by those quests, and it really sucked as well because I just got a new RAM in my PC around about that time, and it made the game run so slick, but I just kept getting frustrated by that side quest, and I refused to play on past
Yeah,
it.
I've had levels like that where it just puts you off and you can't be
Yeah,
bothered.
yeah, it's just too much too much effort, you know,
I'll tell you
too long.
one with me is I've never finished Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
It's because I got really far into it. I got to the point where I don't know if you remember, but you go to some town to save the girl and I think the little boy, I can't remember. But you have to then race back in a chariot
It rings a bell.
while you're being hounded by, again, I can't really
Yeah,
remember what you're
it's
being
like a
hounded by.
sort of time trial type thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and
So,
you've got to
mm,
save the other people, and I hate it when you got to save other people in games.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I defend myself, you defend yourself, and we'll be fine. That's how I like to play games.
yeah. You should see how me and Jake are playing Far. Well, how I'm playing Far Cry 5. No, it's both of us. It's both of us. But it's hard to tell who the enemies are on that. So, like sometimes, so
You just kind of shoot everyone.
yeah, we end up shooting everyone, and sometimes where when the NPCs like get sketchy with us, like we're just like holding our gun, we're aiming down the sight, like testing out or whatever, and then one of the people will like walk into our view, this happened last night. Someone walked into my sights and said like, "Hey, watch where you're pointing that thing." It's like, bitch, you walked into my line of sight. And you don't even have it. You got no trigger discipline. Her finger was around the trigger, and she was having to go at me, walking into my line of sight. What kind? Fuck you! I killed that AI. Just FYI.
Okay.
I shot her. I shot her in the head. To be
Yeah.
honest, I thought I would be given the chance to revive her. Like it was just kind of slap on the wrist meant me, but she died.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
There was another AI like 2 seconds later. He had trigger discipline. He
Yeah.
didn't have his finger weren't around the trigger. It was just pointed like that, just on the top, above the trigger. It was fine, but you know, can't have someone like her in our resistance. Like she bloody shoot us in the back of the head by accident. But yeah, like what was we talking about there? Why did I?
I don't remember what we were talking about, but Far Cry 6.
What's he on about?
What is he on about?
That looks fun.
I've just noticed
Dictator.
now, actually, it features bad guy in
Breaking Bad. What's in face from Breaking Bad? Yeah, yeah. That'll be good. Like he good actor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to play this part very, very well.
He will. He will indeed.
He just fits the part. Brilliant. He's
For
brilliant.
sure.
Man. He's very good in Breaking Bad. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I've gone through a good lot of it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think me and Looney have watched like the last couple seasons, but yeah.
He's, I think he's my favorite character. I know he's a bad guy, but
yeah.
no, it's not about Gus.
Is it Saul? Is that his name?
No, he's Gus.
Gus, but he like
Saul
works with Saul, don't he, or something?
Yes.
Saul's the lawyer. Yeah, I know the guy. I know the one.
And I can see Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. This is a game that I will not be playing.
A game that you'd force me to play instead.
Yeah, you can play it. I'll watch.
Oh, right. I've got a couple news points to jump through, but then I think I'm good. That's all of my stuff. Yeah. So, first off, Joe Biden, who's not yet president, has said that UK trade deal will with the US will rely on the Good Friday Agreement. Basically, what that means, if Joe Biden gets in and we do like a no deal type Brexit or something like that, and it effectively puts a border between the UK and Northern Ireland, that breaks the Good Friday Agreement. And if Joe Biden gets in, then he won't make a trade deal with us.
Okay.
So that's fun, Boris. I nearly said luckily Trump will end up getting in, but that's not a good statement.
No, it's not.
Trump will end up getting in, so we'll get a trade deal with him, but we're probably not going to get a good trade deal with Trump anyway. Also, have you heard about Joe Rogan offering to head a 3 or he's going to mediate, he wants to, he's offered to mediate a 3-hour-long debate between just Biden and Trump. And Trump has said, yeah, let's go.
Okay.
On Twitter.
50% of the way there.
So that's never going to happen, obviously, unfortunately.
That would be very interesting. I would love to see that.
Yeah, like that it kind of needs to happen at this point, because whatever credibility Biden still has with a certain subgroup of people will be lost if he doesn't.
Yeah,
and that'll just ingrain a load of other people's thoughts about him in harder as well. If he just refuse, because we've never had. I don't remember the last time I've heard about something as, in theory, as structured as that, or as raw as that could be. You know, like because these ones that we have on the telly, they fucking like. PMQs and like the debates on ITV or BBC and all that shit around our elections. It's all a fucking load of crap.
Yeah.
Like, podcasters should be doing it, really. There's to a certain extent, or they should be they should. I think we're gonna see a lot more of that in the future. Like, there's gonna be MPs and like senators and presidents and PMs, even maybe. They're instead of going around, or not, instead of just going around radio, TV, talk circuits, there's gonna be kind of smaller influencer circuits and shit like that they're gonna end up, like, they'll end up taking interviews with certain people in the influencer space, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
So if you look at
which
the
will
kind
be
of people
interesting.
if you look at the kind of people Joe Rogan pulls in, it does seem to be going that way.
Yeah, like, I bet you £5 it won't happen, but I want it to happen.
And you know that Joe Rogan's he's going to say what's on his mind. He's going to ask those questions that this.
Have you two ever tried DMT?
Can you imagine them all?
We have oh shit, what's his name? We have Graham Hancock in the back. So he thinks that every world leader should take at least 12 cups of ayahuasca before they're qualified. We have him in the back if you guys want to make this into best of 12.
Yes. Oh, can you imagine? Both of them just doing an Elon.
Oh my god. Yeah, just get Elon in for a bit of fun as well. Oh, just for kicks. And Kanye, why not?
Oh, can you imagine? That is a fatal force.
Whatever happened to Kanye? Like, wasn't he meant to be teaming up with Elon Musk at some point for his presidency? They were chatting about something. I heard.
He's still popping off, Kanye.
He don't stop popping off.
Yeah.
Yeezy.
Oh, Kanye West kicked off Twitter.
The timing on that, oh my god.
That's literally the first thing that comes up. If you search Kanye West, that's the first thing that
What? Why? Breaking news, you heard it here first. Why was he kicked off Twitter? Let's go. Jesus.
The All Day Hitmaker, she had a video earlier this week of himself urinating on his Grammy Award.
Oh, right, he got kicked off because of the urinating on the Grammy. Why? What's wrong with that? It's just a statement. I mean, I don't really care if he pissed on his Grammy, and it's not like we've seen his dick. What's the why was he kicked off for that?
It's just an object. It's just a bit of a chunk of metal.
Like, people legit post nudes on Twitter. Like, almost every, from what I can tell, almost every OnlyFans girl has like a lewd Twitter or something, like some sort of preview thing. Like, I see Beta post retweeting OnlyFans girls all the time.
He fucking loves it.
But yeah, like, how can you get kicked off Twitter for pissing on a Grammy, but
someone didn't like it, someone high up didn't like it,
but you can almost incite nuclear war and not get kicked off, or encourage people to, or tell people when the looting starts, the shooting starts. That's inciting violence, right?
Yeah, it's quite funny what we prioritize as important.
Like, how? What? I can't see anything about him getting kicked off Twitter, but I do see the things about him pissing on his Grammy. Tuning out Kanye West's important message about the industry. I mean, on a certain level, I kind of agree with it in pissing on it, because the music industry is a pile of trash anyway, how it stands.
I will say I was using Bing.
Might be the issue.
Yeah, but
I got one 9 hours ago, but it's all like weird ass fucking. For 12 hours? Newsweek. I've never heard of this news source. Who's these? Kanye West banned from Twitter for. So he was timed out for 12 hours. According to a Twitter spokesperson, the tweet was removed for posting private information, and the account was temporarily locked in accordance with private information policy. Well, that's a load of bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah. He did go on to tweet a lot of stuff after the video or whatever,
Yeah.
saying he posted 90% of the record contracts on the planet are still on a royalty. A standard record deal is a trap
Yeah.
to never have you recoup,
Yeah. Truth.
and all stuff like this. So, he really popped off. Series of tweets.
We used to diss Michael Jackson. The media made us call him crazy. Then they killed him. And of course, the alleged video, or the video, fucking, it's nothing obscene in that. I'm curious how he got the camera angle without someone's assistance, to be honest. Like, I just seen an article like saying something like Kanye heads to dinner without Kim after pissing on his Grammy. Like, oh yeah, they must be in a tit. Who filmed the video? She probably filmed the video. Like, I imagine she has to listen to him every fucking day rag on about how the music industry's fucked.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm not much of a fan of Kanye West. Like, so he's got some good songs and shit like that, but he's a little unhinged. But he's kind of if he's ragging on the music industry, I can't imagine he's far from the truth. He's also claimed that Universal Studios, the music label, or Universal Music Label even, won't tell him how much his masters cost because they know that he can afford to buy them. Because if he buys the rights to his songs, he earns a fuckload more money. And if they have the rights, well, if they don't have the rights, then they got nothing.
Yeah. But we don't know what like happens behind the scenes with all these contracts and stuff. Like maybe he can't.
Honestly,
maybe he signed a contract.
It's predatory as fuck.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's music is one of the skeeviest businesses to get into on almost every level. Like, no matter how much passion or energy you can have for it, like, the system is total dog shit. Like, it's set up. It's essentially set up so that artists can't really make money without like having to somehow do everything independently. Like, they're either a full on workhorse for their label, and or they will have, if they've actually like got a decent contract, for example, then they will probably have to be a fucking workhorse for the label to be able to justify it, because they at every point they will try and find some way to undercut you. A lot of the time, straight up, they'll rather than saying like, like you think, as an artist, if you come off stage at a big gig or something like that, the typical cliche, you get handed a contract by some big record producer. That's not gonna be any good for you, guaranteed. If you read through that, it'd probably be like a 5-album deal in which they own all the rights to the music, and they basically give you the money as a loan, and you have to earn that money back plus interest for them, and then you get some profits off the top of that, or you get like an advance to be able to go and make the money for them.
Jeez.
By producing the album. Like, so sometimes the In fact, I think a lot of cases, the advance that musicians get, so like if they get say a 50K advance, that has to go towards making the album. It's not like they pay. That's
Yeah.
like what they get to create the product to a certain level.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, it like unless you have a lawyer helping you with your contract negotiation, you're gonna be fucked. And the thing is, if you try and bring in a lawyer, they'll just be like, we ain't got time for all of this. So just get the next guy in, blah blah blah. Because they know they have all the power in the world. Without them, you can hardly market yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
But with their help and their resources, then you've got a massive opportunity in the music industry. So they're going to be doing everything they can to pressure you into signing that contract then and there without looking at it, without having a lawyer look at it, without discussing it, without going over it, so that they can get everything that they want then. It's honestly fucked. The entire industry works on manipulation. For the most part. Like, as far as I can tell, like, just being a techie is pretty wholesome. Like, you just make the show look pretty and it's all good. Make it sound good. It's fine. But a lot of the rest of the industry is totally... And even then, that's just the idea. I don't know what it's like for techies realistically to work. It's probably massively underpaid and, like, all that sort of stuff, and not safe for a lot of people in, like, smaller firms. But, you know, that's the industry.
That is the industry. Unfortunately.
It's the same with, like, acting and stuff like that. With agents, they'll try and sign you into contracts where they have to be doing that. You have to be doing all your shit through them, and they get like a cut of everything you do and all that sort of stuff. And normally they'll negotiate the contracts for you. So there's been a good few times where actors have been left penniless because their agent or their manager or their rep negotiate the contract so that the actor gets fuck all, and her and the studio or the producer or whoever the fuck walks away with most of the profits. It's because, you know, you wouldn't have gotten this opportunity without your agent or your manager or whatever. Could have easily just put any other guy into this.
Yeah, it's not. There should be like some sort of rule where the creator of the music takes home at least 60% of the money, you know.
Or like unless you're aware that you're selling your, like, there should be something so that you have to be fully aware when you're selling your music as opposed to when you're selling like rights to your music and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
sorry, what was that?
Yeah, like there should be something so that it should be like something different entirely, rather than being able to have contracts where you could get signed into making a 5-album deal where they own all the albums. Like, royalties should be by default to the artist for sure. Like at least a 60% cut of royalties should go to the artist, I think.
Yeah.
A minimum, realistically.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah, I mean it's got to be at least half, and you can't say 50%. So 60% at least, surely.
Because the thing is, the artist will have been putting in a good portion of their own money into their project, into their creativity and their passion to produce what they're trying to make, ideally. So, like, to have so much money stripped away from them out of what they created, it's horrible. Like, royalties, I don't think should ever be able to be sold unless you as the artist are explicitly selling them. That I think that should be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, so it should be like a different kind of contract to sell music as opposed to like or a different contract to sell the rights to your music as opposed to like signing on to a label. It should be a separate thing entirely, you know?
Yeah.
Or like at least have standards that we can agree on throughout the industry of like what's a fair cut for any artist. Because at the moment it's hard to make any kind of a living, really, even if you are a popular musician. All right, well, we went off the rails with that there, but you know. Okay, what other things have I got here? So, did that? Oh yeah, that started off with the trade deal thing, didn't it? Okay, so one other thing I heard today. Apparently, there's some legislation being looked into that would allow, frankly, an egregious amount of control to electricity providers via the third gen smart meters. So apparently, these third gen smart meters will be able to turn off individual circuits within your house. At least that's as far as I can tell.
Okay.
So almost as if it's got its own circuit breaker, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they say that this is to like help distribute power throughout the grid. But then one very obvious example of a situation where this could go terribly wrong: electric car driver leaving his car on overnight, like to charge, wakes up in the morning, his provider decided to turn the electricity off for it. His car isn't charged, he can't make it to work. Worse yet, he tried to, didn't realize, and he's halfway to work.
Yeah.
With no battery.
They would have to ensure
that's just one fringe scenario. There's like so many other little things. Like they could turn off your heating. They could turn off they could turn off your PC in the middle of a gaming session because you've overclocked it and it seems to be taking too much power. Like the scope of this is scary. It's disturbing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on.
I don't like the idea of that.
This was actually, I was told by someone from a certain company that worked on the smart meters that that's pretty much all the energy companies were interested in. They were showing off all of these cool features and everything they'd be able to do for like statistics and like power distribution, etc., all the cool features they could implement in the future. And the big wigs were just like, can we turn off power remotely? We can? Okay, that's all we need, brill.
Yeah.
So like at first my it was just sort of, if you're not paying your bills, you cut straight away, you know? The instant cutting off of the power. So now it's getting more granular, which is disturbing. That's bad. That's really so like their responsibility should be to provide power to our house, and it should stop there. Like, I don't even like the idea with smart meters that they can actually monitor power draw within the house, like through all your devices and that. Like they already collect all that kind of information with like either the Gen 1 or the Gen 2. So that's already a bit much, if you ask me. Being able to fucking essentially control our houses remotely through the grid. That's fucked.
Yeah, that seems like too much control.
Yeah, like that's where dystopian bullshit comes in. That's where Watch Dogs 3 comes in. Like that's some proper full-on Bloom bullshit. So to move on, bring it up a little bit, something a little more.
I will say I will have to jump off soon to do.
Yeah, that's fine. I just got two more. So, in the same sort of vein as the last one, Boris Johnson wants to, from what I can tell, at least make adjustments to how we handle human rights in the UK. So that's one of the points that I seen is that certain Tories believe that the the European Bill of Human Rights didn't take into account asylum seekers. So I don't exactly know what they're trying to say there, but it sounds like asylum seekers don't have human rights.
That's basically what that says.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's their way of putting it without saying those words.
yeah. At this point, I think the whole exemption of hunting from the rule of 6, at this point, that's just for foreshadowing the Purge and them hunting the greatest game of all. So, eat the rich. That's all I can say. And on that kind of vein, if you like to eat rich and would like to have 2 sausages, 2 pieces of bacon, some parsley, a tomato, I want to say 2 sausages, the image is cut off for me, and a large mushroom for £18, go to Gordon Ramsay's Savoy Grill in London.
It is 1 sausage, by the way.
1 sausage, 2 eggs, 1 sausage, couple rashers bacon, a tomato, a mushroom, and some, what I assume is parsley to garnish.
No beans.
£18. Fucking nearly said
toast.
Jamie Oliver then. Gordon Ramsay's Savoy Grill.
Yeah.
Brilliant English breakfast, and he hopes you'll enjoy it, and he's really excited for you to try it for £18.
So many components missing.
Where's the hash browns? I'm not a fan of it, but where's black pudding?
Black pudding.
Yeah, beans, toast, fried bread. What? Like, what?
Other various potato options. Some people like other things.
Yeah, bubble and squeak.
Hmm.
What? And also, on top of that, someone else had steak and chips from another Gordon Ramsay restaurant. It was 5 slices of steak. It looked really well cooked. I'll give him that. But it's 5 slices of like what looked like a 5-ounce rump, and a cone of chips for £21.
Even at Miller and Kai, well, you get a steak for cheaper than that, but you get a full steak, a full side. You get 2 sides actually, and your sauce.
Yeah, it's like spoons, for example. Spoons, like breakfast, what, £5, and you get double what Ramsay's giving you, and there's like loads of sauce and shit you could go for, loads of extras, and it'd be hard to get up to 18 quid. It would be a challenge. It would turn into a meal challenge.
Yeah, well, you can almost have 4 of them.
Yeah. You could just get 4 fucking... There's probably a deal for that at certain times through the week.
Probably.
Actually, on that subject, I got one more.
Yeah, go on.
So, a chef at Weatherspoons has been filming how the meals are made.
Yeah.
And it went viral when everyone somehow discovered that the curries are ready meals. Like, did you actually think that they made fresh homemade curries in spoons? Like, what were you expecting, people? Like,
I was expecting ready meal curries.
To be fair, what I seen with him, it was like literally plastic pot ready meals. In the Otter, Marston's, for example, it was like boil in the bag rice or curry. But how do people not realize that every chain like that, a Marston's, Weatherspoons, I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but any restaurant chain like that has all of their food frozen.
Yeah.
All of it is frozen, and they just chuck it in a steamer, or chuck it in a bain marie, like the water boiler thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or in the microwave. Sometimes they'll use a combination of a steamer and like in the Otter, we'd chuck everything in the steamer. If we needed something really quickly, then we'd chuck it in the microwave. Or if we needed to like finish it off, we'd chuck it in the microwave.
Yeah.
How do people not realize that your £5, like your, how much is a curry in spoons?
Uh, I, which was probably between
Pro,
five,
pro,
6, 7 pounds, something
yeah,
like that.
5, 6. How do you not realize that your curry from spoons is basically just a Tesco's meal deal? How can you not kind of realize it's the same thing? They're always so consistent. They're the same every single time. It's not like they have their own secret curry recipe. This is spoons.
Mm.
Like they can't even figure out a furlough scheme. So I, they literally just getting cheap ready meals and marking the price up. It's what almost every restaurant does to a certain extent. Like
Yeah.
you I can't think of a restaurant off the top of my head that's like affordable food. There's sort of a bit of a chain that you could go in and just have like fresh cooked food and you'd know it'd be fresh cooked
Like
straight
fresh
away.
cut pub grub kind of thing.
Yeah, like anything that's pub grub, that's microwaved or
I,
steamed or something.
yeah,
Definitely,
I,
there's
I,
no way.
I
Like
don't know.
there's sausages, they'll be frozen sausages. Um the steak, that stuff will get kept in the fridge. Like it'll come in frozen, and they'll keep some in the freezer, and then they'll defrost it in the fridge to the stock, like however they need, how it's going. Like keep a kind of stockpile, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you like that's what really amazes me with the Karens that run into the kitchen like demanding you make their meal better. Like, okay, I'll chuck another curry in the microwave
Yeah.
for you.
Let's try again. And then she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's so much better. Thank you." It's like, okay.
What did you do differently to it this time? I microwaved it instead of put it in the steamer.
Just a bit of extra radiation for you.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like,
Oh no, what they do is, do you know there's always an option where it's like
hmm.
microwave or oven cook. They just do the oven cook one, so it's slightly better,
Yeah.
slightly
The
better.
thing is, the oven cook, I guarantee you that won't be an oven. That's a steamer, which is basically, if if you want to think, you could think of it as an analog microwave, right? So you know how a microwave, it uses radiation to heat up the water molecules already in the food to make it hot, yeah?
Mm.
A steamer instead just fills like this massive cabinet with steam, and it's essentially a microwave but putting steamy hot air in rather than making the steamy molecule, the water molecules hot.
Mm.
So it's basically a big analog microwave. It works the same sort of way. Like
Yeah.
that's what the oven cook is. It's just a big water spray. It's a big car wash.
Doesn't sound as nice or appealing when you say it like that.
Nah, nah, not really, does it? That realistically, that's how they do it. Because you can the chicken, for example, that'll be frozen, and they'll just chuck that into the steamer. Like they
Yeah.
might finish it off on the grill, but generally it's in the steamer. And honestly, tastes a lot better that way because it keeps it juicy, keeps it
Mm.
warm and juicy.
Moist.
Exactly, moist.
And that's what it's about.
Exactly, you know it. Like I don't get it. People are dumb. And to Tim Weatherspoons or whatever the fuck his name is, he's firing the kid. Imagine
Well,
firing a minimum wage cook for telling people like, yeah, it's in the microwave. What else? What else do you expect?
yeah, but it's the illusion. Like some people don't know that, and obviously because everyone's going nuts, so now
Yeah,
everybody knows. And I don't think it's
yeah,
different. I'll always still go
yeah,
to spoons. Some people know what they're getting. It
yeah.
tastes
Like
decent for the price.
everyone's still going to spoons. They said they were going to boycott, but they're still going there. It being microwave ain't going to stop them now. Like if Tim Martin's whole shtick throughout the pandemic, is it Tim Martin? I don't fucking know. If Weatherspoon's shtick throughout the lockdown couldn't keep you boycotted, then I don't know how the microwave meals are. They're fine. Anyone that thought they were going to be anything other, I mean, I was hopeful, but you know, they're fine. All right, so that's everything that I've got, anyways.
Cool.
So I think we're all wrapped up now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically.
I still got loads of points for next week as well, and we've done an hour and 46. So
Awesome.
Done,
Awesome.
we've done them.
All right, cool. So yeah, check us out on everything. Like, what is it? We're up on everything now, but by now, aren't we?
We will absolutely. This is the promise. We'll absolutely have it all set up by next week, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. We'll absolutely maybe have it set up next week. So, so the outro song, like, just to hype it up, because we were chatting about the music industry earlier. Unlike Pluto / like Saturn, that's his royalty-free alias. Everything you need. Night Mode Music is the label. They give out. Well, they don't give out. They provide copyright strike-free music and stuff like that for any content creators. So YouTube videos, intros, outros, like this, for example. You won't get any copyright strikes for it. The entire label, Night Mode, is set up to help creators, essentially. I don't know if it expands to like being able to remix the songs. That'd be cool. Yep. If you need any music, head to them. They're doing God's work. So yeah, check us out on everything up on Anchor, and that distributes to everything else. I think we're on Google Podcasts now, Spotify Podcasts, Overcast, anywhere Anchor distributes to, we're there. Check. If you enjoyed, do what you can, help the algorithm, give us a like, share, whatever you want. Just help us out however you can. We appreciate it, yeah. So hope you guys have a good one, and as Jack said, hopefully we'll have all the links and everything set up by next time, which will indeed be next Thursday, because this is the off week, which means we have to do one next Thursday.
Yeah, we have to do one next Thursday.
We have to do one next Thursday.
It's going to be 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, that messes up our rhythm. So, you know, gotta get it done.
Exactly. So,
all right.
Yeah, we will be back this time next Thursday. Well,
yeah. Indeed. We will catch you all later. That's the wrong screen. There we go.
Yes.